Everybody, welcome. Oh, the psychic investigator, hell, Everybody, welcome. It was a psychic investigator. So I have many topics to discuss today. I'm here early for me, earlier and early at the office. So there's a few things to discuss. But I wanted to ask a question that I don't usually funny. I tend to just um I tend to just like focus on the news, and I don't usually focus on question. But I received a question that I thought it was quite interesting, given everything that's going on. I'm just trying to find here. Okay. So let me find. You know what? So his question is, hello, Rosie. As I mentioned in a previous email, I'm a fellow churchgoer that has watched people like you since the election because I knew the election was rigged and because I needed guidance for the time being. I'm so glad you're both psychic and I'm one of God. I still don't understand why we still have this quote unquote administration, which is done of because of Elon Musk musketamine. I know at the inauguration, Kamala Mouth justice is coming, but I'm getting more and more pessimistic that justice will ever come. I also don't understand why God hasn't done anything yet. I honestly feel like it's his twiddling his thumbs. And I also feel at times that God won't do anything at all and is betraying us. People have been saying month after month that this will be the month, but no. I'm just fed up that nothing has happened. Have you received messages from God about our current situation? I'd love to get a reply about this, but I just thought this was interesting. I'm not going to give you his full information. His name is Oliver. Uh, so, but I just thought I'd do the protection and ask this question because I think a lot of us feel it in different, different ways in different circumstances. Right? Feel this frustration at times. So I'd like to ask for protection and beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good and all the good. And so it is. All right. Okay, so what is going on, God? Oliver has this really interesting question. Why is nothing being done? Right? I also feel like it. I also feel like God is twiddling his thumbs, and I also feel at times that God won't do anything at all that is betraying us. People have been saying, right, that this will be month after month, but no. So what's going on? Does God have anything to tell Oliver and anyone watching, listening? Why has it been taking so long? We all know that I empathize with the question here, right? Broadly speaking, several. It's not one specific. It's like a broad situation. So why, given that we all know this is wrong, why does it keep happening? Why hasn't nothing changed? And how to deal with that? What's going on, God? So first, I'm being shown this image of the situation, quote unquote, the situation. We're all observing this thing, the news, and the news, the administration doing all these terrible things, and we're like, right? Like this, watching. And then I'm shown that if we withdraw from this, and it's weird, it's almost like we have to ignore this, but then it doesn't make sense because in the way they have so much power over us and over what's happening. And it's when we think about it that way, we give it more power. And then it shows me us like sort of like withdrawing from what we are observing and stepping into the place where we have power and what it feels like. Actually, you know what does it feel like? So, what does it feel like to exercise power, right? And this is an open-ended question. So what does it feel like when we ask ourselves, what does it feel like to exercise power in this situation where you're living? What does it feel like to know that we feel like you can change the circumstances and you can make it happen? And it's saying it's the lesson here, if there's such a thing, is that for us to step into the position where we feel like we have power and the sense that is in deep in our gut, right? Which is true. We're like, oh my God, this thing is so wrong. What the hell? This has to end. Like that feeling of rightful anger. And then changing the situation. Now you have to step into it and feel that and make it happen mentally. That's right. So, but then when we wake up, we still see that that's a mess. How do we deal with that? It shows me Dr. King. Dr. King wasn't like, oh my God, nothing is happening. I can't believe, like, right. It's like you have to have a focus on define what it is that you want to experience. Of course, we're millions of people, right? Billions of people in the world. Nobody is going to necessarily want the same things or whatever, but it's saying pick something you want to experience. Let's say, for example, we have universal healthcare or the bad. This is something maybe the most important for me. It's that the bad people go to jail, justice, right? And that they pay for it's not in a natural way, like just pay for the crime because we have laws, right? Or, but nothing ever happens to these people. Like, what about that? What a new concept that they face justice because it has been happening for centuries, and none of these people ever have to be held accountable for things they've done. So if they are held accountable for the things they've done, that's the thing, right? That's what I want to see. So focus on that, observing and creating that reality in your mind, almost like if you were quote unquote cooking up something in your head. Focus on, like, how we want specific things, usually has to do with money or events or something personal. You can create that, manifest that, spend time manifesting that in your mind. So because it's saying that it's also a shift culturally from letting the world that you experience through trash, right? It's a world that those bad people create. They're manipulating propaganda. They are creating this just absolutely awful stuff. And we're so angered and we're so revolted by this. And then in some ways, sometimes we forget to go inside and build it ourselves because the more we believe that we can create, the more we feel empowered. Does it make sense? So that's what I feel like if there's a lesson, and then this is the thing that does it make sense? Because God, but you don't, why do you let it happen when so many people are suffering? Saying this is really the bottom line here, what he's asking. So why do you let it happen when you see so many people suffering? It's saying again, it's a time of transition, and it's saying we chose to come to this life. It was not going to be easy. We have rules to play, different roles, different people have different roles, and it's about helping this transition. And that's that. Okay, it's if things were perfect, it would be heaven. It's not heaven because things have to change, right? So it's saying it's a laboratory for spiritual development. That's what life is. And that's that. So okay, so why has it that nobody has done it? And it feels like nothing is changing. The guy keeps doing things. And when we think logically, it's like, how is it ever going to change? So how do we deal with that? It's saying just keep picturing it changing because then we have the expectation of it happening and then it doesn't make sense. It's like there's nothing that we necessarily, I mean, we can vote, we can organize, we can do those kinds of things also. But there's like you can't yourself be like, get out now, trash. Oh, stop it. Here it is. Right. But we can have that step into it already happening. So show me what it will be like when trash is out. That's another question. That's another way of seeing it. Show me what it will be like. and I see like, wow, it feels so light. See, we walking around like in this belief, like, wow, wow, we don't feel like we're gonna die every day, right? Because that's in the back of our minds. And I feel like a lot. Sometimes I'm online, Brazil, like I see like Reddit, Brazilian Reddit, and there's people like, oh, what about going to the US? And it's like they may know of the news, but they don't get it like bodily, the feeling of like this feeling of like you're in danger, your life is like threatened or something, right? So it's scary really because they're cutting so many programs, they're putting people's lives in danger, and there's the whole AI thing. So so that's this release, and then it's just show me the circumstances of Trump falling, and when what will we read are the reasons for it. That what are the news? What are people talking about is the news for him of him falling. Okay, it shows me an image of him being like a statue, like a just a facade, and the thing is crumbling. And it's saying people inside the government, other people in still the military saying we didn't have a country. We have to take it back until before it completely collapses. And interesting, in the way that's saying a lot of the people in the military may move when they feel like they're not gonna have a paycheck. So so it's interesting, right? In the end, survival, we will survive. And things what it's saying it's will fall into place in that way, right? Like that it because the things are so unnatural, they cannot be sustained for that long. No matter how evil, like we have a lot of those billionaires that want destruction because they will profit from it and they have calculated there will be profit to be made from it. But that alone is not enough. If so many more people, including other business owners, are going to be hurt, there's just this feeling that there's no way forward. And it's saying the midterms are going to be a bloodbath for the Republicans and and then some Democrats who have been sort of ineffective. But let's see. I have a question. But the question again, how do people deal with that feeling that nobody's doing anything? It's saying, what about you? Ask yourself this question. What could you do about it? What if you have the power to do something? What would you do? And picture yourself. It's saying people have to step away from the position of thinking they're not powerful. And that's the change that has to happen. And that change is more important than anything. So, so that's interesting. I hope it's not, 'cause sometimes I might feel like my questions can be a little convoluted. I go different directions. So is very interesting. Very interesting. So, okay, so show me practically what people can do in this moment where it feels like nothing is changing, and it's hard, it's painful to watch everything happening, and in the sense of personally, like the sense of injustice is like makes me so angry, and to see this war going on for no reason really, for just to manipulate prices, that's disgusting. And that makes me so angry. And the whole like, oh, nobody's gonna have a job. We're gonna do AI is gonna take over everything. Like they say it like so naturally. So how do we deal with that? It's saying just step into the position where you have power and see Rosie, go to picture yourself on CNBC saying, this was just an entirely fraudulent operation. Of course, it was not going to work. And we're here at the Department of Justice. We are glad to say that they have now been sent to prison, whatever X prison, and that they are serving time for fooling the American people for. So it's saying picture the thing happening, and you can even picture yourself sending the light to create the light that you send creates the justice, the correct outcome that you want. Does it make sense? Because that's what it's saying. It's like if you allow, it's like because the mechanism is they create this fake reality because it's a fake reality, right? That affects so many people, but it's essentially based on lies. And then when we engage with this fake reality, we help it. Does it make sense? So when we step into the place, we're like, no, it's over. It's over, Via. And we live it, we kind of experience it through prayer and through belief and all that, then it starts to shift. I think things have shifted already. Look at a lot of the local elections that are happening. So so that's interesting. Now, okay, and then he mentioned something, what was it? Oliver mentioned musketamine, right? It was very interesting. But okay, devil's advocate question here. So what about the fact that Elon Musk still around? Could he not change the what will make him not does it make sense? We have to like also ask, what isn't he didn't he obviously messed in the last election? What's gonna make it change? What would be different this time? No, he's like, okay. Wow, interesting. He's saying he's like this, and it's saying his companies are not doing well by the time the midterms come. And he will not have it's almost like he like mentally, he's just like, oh, my money, like there he has so much to worry about. He doesn't have the time and almost like the mental acuity to do this. And then I also got that it's interesting. Even though was I asking that? Oh, I guess it came through, but it's saying the people that are rough people that helped him in the last time are not going to be there because it's saying the government will be different over there in Russia, right? So those people that are close to that man, Putin, may be trying to run away. They may be kind of it's too risky for them. They have to escape. They have to try to run. So that's interesting. Entra sempre meio rosa, entra sempre meio rosa. Okay, so very good, very good. Okay, all right. So that's it, guys. Interesting question. Okay, so thank you, Oliver, for your question. All right, I hope I addressed some of this. Okay, I'll address the core of the question. All right. Okay. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.